Big Dange! Got a Dange! Wasn't quite a good enough one. Been a long time since I've done any of these. But I thought I should get back on track. But I was just watching myself. No. Let's not go into that. But, you know, I feel I should be reviewing stuff for you guys. What I've decided is that I'm going to try and do a weekly show instead of reviewing films individually. Why don't I just do a weekly show? It's more fun. I can cram a little bit in and I can give you some more top-end cinema releases, because otherwise I'm kind of forgetting about some of these films, as I have forgotten for about a year. So, I'm on tonight to talk about Mr. Turner. First off, Mr. Turner. Oi. Mr. Turner, Mike Leigh's latest film, starring Timothy Spall as the late, he was dead in 18 whatever, painter Turner, J.M.W. Turner. And this film's been heralded pretty, it's a few clips of his life, really, kind of from his I don't know, late 30s or 40s to his death. Well, you don't necessarily see his death. That's not a spoiler. I'm just saying he is dead. So, yeah, Timmy Spall plays the man, and he plays him utterly brilliantly. This is a film that's got a lot of plaudits. It's been lauded very highly by the critics. And I read an interesting article, or listened to an interesting interview about saying, well, the critics like it much more than the punters do. That's fair enough, I think. The critics are very much in love with Mike Leigh, I think. On another interview, I've got that have my problems with him. But he is a very good director. He's a very clean director. It's very BBC-ish, though, this film. It's a very BBC film. If you saw this on a Sunday night, you'd be delighted. 9 till 11. Absolutely delighted. And being a little bit fair with it, it's better than that. It's better than that, because it is a cracking film. And it's a cracking performance, mainly. But it's still it's inhabited. You know, it lives within a BBC framework. You know, there aren't even any ballrooms or anything. It's just, you know, there are country houses and there are little bits of London town. In fact, you know, there are BBC productions which are more lavish than that. That, for instance, is more lavish. And there are better films. Spall makes it. Spall really makes it. He's really good. He's worth watching it for. Grunting his way through a performance he grunts in a way that's funny. He grunts in a way that's angry. He grunts in a way that looks painful. But it's a really good film. It's a decent one. I wouldn't necessarily have sought it out in cinema. As I said, happy to watch it on a Sunday night on BBC Two. But it's a fine work. Mike Leigh's always got an annoying woman character in it, and I think the woman who plays Turner's kind of consort by the sea in Margate, she pretty much got on my nerves. Mike Leigh always seems to have a woman character who gets on my nerves, and that it's just because they tend to overplay a little bit, you know, the Brenda Blethins, the Leslie Manvilles. I think it's overplayed a little bit, you know. Off the leash is one thing. I think it sometimes becomes a bit too much. This woman plays simpleton a little bit too much. But anyway, that's minor. It's a decent film. I wouldn't run out and see it, but people have been seeing it in their droves because it's been on at Cineworld, World of Cine, for ages. So, you know, people like it. It's a good one. I would give it... It's like 7.1 on IMDb. Why not chuck in a 0.2? 7.3. It's a good film. Okay, so the next one I saw was... What I'm doing is... Well, let's do the big one. Let's do Hunger Games. Hunger Games... Bloody Mocking whatever. Mockingjay Part 1. Now, firstly... What's first? Firstly is the Hunger Games trilogy, as it is now, the Hunger Games segments, little tangerines, haven't really grabbed me that much so far. I think that they're good. I thought that the first one was good. I thought the second one was better, heightened, very tense moments, with an ending that was just crap, but which I understand is completely in line with the book, where you get 20 minutes of just, what on earth bloody now? Very disappointing after a pretty decent film. But this one carries on afterwards. I'm probably going to reveal almost no plot details. I mean, she's been in the Hunger Games, she's been in the games twice, now she's part of a rebellion. And there are some interesting things about this, because she is part of a rebellion now, and it's kind of, and there are real revolutionary things in here, and there are some strange references to directors and filmmaking within the film that really kind of work. Well, I think it possibly work against the film, to be honest, because you feel slightly awkward where there's this director talking about how to behave in front of the camera, and I'm not sure it comes off that well, but you know, it's okay. In general, the film is a bit of a flatline. You're right. No, I can't lift it up, but you're right underneath Flatliners here. You're right underneath Flatliners, which is funny. Which isn't a good film, by the way, but I've got to watch it soon. But the film is a bit flatline. There are some daring things. There are some exciting things going on. It's got quite a good ending. But I would say Katniss, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence? It's not Jennifer Lawrence, is it? Lawrence. It is Jennifer Lawrence, isn't it? Yeah. She is terrific, but she's always terrific. I think the Peter guy, Josh Hutcherson, who I thought was a little bit nothing, he's like pretty decent in this. The rest of the cast, Julianne Moore's in it, is brilliant, and of course it's Philip Seymour Hoffman's last film, and he is really good within a role that doesn't demand an awful lot. It's not like he's bloody Cynic Doke in New York or anything. So, but it's decent. It's decent. But the film is a bit flatlining. I mean, I quite liked it. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, I guess. Go and see it, particularly if you're interested in the whole shebang. It's a decent thing. Yeah. And it's built up to the second one. I mean, if you're going to talk about part ones, I think Harry Potter Part 1, 8.1, is absolutely terrific. A lot better. One of my favourite Harry Potters. And I think it doesn't compare to that, if you ask me. But, you know, this point one thing could get annoying. I'll tell you where it's really annoying, though, just as an aside. It's really annoying on the TV shows. If they're going to release DVDs and say, oh, you've got to buy part 1 of the last series for 18 fucking quid, you twat. That's why people pirate stuff. It's a disgrace. Little word out to you filmy guys, TV guys. Mostly the TV guys. You're pricks. You're making everyone pirate stuff. Fuck you if they do. I don't, but fuck you. Right, the last film, quickly, of this week's film reviews, I've got another couple, but on a separate session, is Cold in July. Well, let me have a sip of wine. Cold in July, which is a film by Jim Mickle, who did We Are What We Are, which I think is a cannibal film, which I haven't seen. But it's this film with Dexter, the guy from Dexter, Michael C. Hall, and Sam Shepard, who's uniformly brilliant in everything he's in, and Don Johnson, who's having something of a comeback since Quentin Tarantino put him back on the screen. And Michael C. Hall plays this guy. It's set in the 80s, and wow, did they set it in the 80s. So there are these heavy synths, boom, 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 wow, 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 all the time. During these creepy moments at the beginning. Well, the creepy moments at the beginning, I'll give you a little bit of a setup, is that Michael C. Hall just walks, he's like, here's a burglar in the night. He comes downstairs and there's a guy in his front room and he holds a gun up to him and the guy makes a little bit of a move and his finger slips and he shoots him. So he shoots this guy and then the police say, oh well, he's this guy, he's this fucking mad guy's son. And the mad guy's Sam Shepard. So he comes around for the funeral. And you're in this like home invasion kind of stalker thriller. with Sam Shepard, and it's you know, and then you just go, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. And honestly, after about 20 minutes, I just thought, this is just going to be like a home invasion thing. I can't be arsed with this, to be honest. So, and you know, I wouldn't have been that far from reaching for the remote and turning it off, but then everything goes fucking berserk. And you have this story that turns like you never think it's going to turn. It really turns. It just goes this way and that way. People become, not really allies, but well, there's just this stuff that goes on. Characters coming in and out who you just go, what? You don't expect any of it. And it all kind of works. It doesn't really work in the cold light of day. But I was watching this film just going, what? I can't really enjoying it. Just, there are some scenes of like pretty ultra violence. There are very Don Johnson's particularly jokey. He does kind of he lightens the tone without destroying what else is there. It kind of feels like real life. If real life was the most perverse, dark bastard thing that you could have, where everything kind of is horrible. But it is good. It's a bit of a shocker, but I would say definitely watch it. Big thumbs up to that one. Yeah, not one of my films of the year, but a damn treat. A damn treat. I'm going to close it there because I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say that's my film review of the week of the new films I've seen. I've watched a couple of DVDs, a couple of these guys, which I might put on a separate thing, a Sidney Lumet little special. But as for now, adios, and I'll see you at the fucking movies.